Cliff, and greetings from Plano, Texas. It's my pleasure today to introduce you to what we think is an extremely innovative solution that's made up of two parts. One is called the Photon Engine, which uses low-cost projectors actually to generate seamless images across a wide space. So as Cliff indicated, this wall here is roughly 18 foot wide by 4 foot tall. The image that you see here is of the site that we built in Manila, which has a 40-foot wall by 4 foot tall in the background. As you can see over here on my far right, actually has a war room very similar to the one I'm in. So from a scaling perspective, you can think of pretty much a standard meeting room, which is what I'm standing in. It's 25 foot wide, or 25 foot long by 15 foot wide, and I have a wall this size in it. So it's a very flexible solution that allows us to put in place great visualization capabilities for our clients. As well, once we got this, and we actually got this out of HP Labs and deployed it internally, we were able to identify that we needed a way to manage the content on the wall. So if you look behind me, in addition to the 40-foot wall and the war room wall and the six-pack in the back, and there's a video wall, there's another 32 digital devices that are in this room. And so we created a tool called OpsCenter, working again in partnership with HP Labs, so that we could manage those devices. And of course, one of our struggles was, how do we do it? Do we do it from a desktop? Do we need touch technology? And of course, we were able to, working with Labs, develop software that works wonderfully on our Elite pads. And so by simply selecting the right button, I can load the next view. I'm going to come back to that one in 1 second. So OpsCenter is a very flexible software that allows us to manage that content across all these different devices. So as long as the device is in your network, we can put OpsCenter on there and we can manage it. And then when you look at devices such when you're managing things on a Photon wall, you've got a lot of space up there. You want to put a lot of different material on that wall. This is the way to do it. So very simply, by using my Elite pad, I can select my next layout, which is pre-configured. In this case, we worked with our partners in Anaheim to pull some basic data so that we could put out there, I believe we're on the fire department here. Yes, we are, Anaheim Fire and Rescue. So there was a great promotional video out there. We've got some great pictures to this side. And if I wanted to move those pictures around, I can very simply do that by dragging it and dropping it on here and swapping those pictures out where I want them to. So OpsCenter brings a lot of flexibility to how you manage the content, again, not only on the wall that you're working directly on, but how you manage content around the room or globally as long as you're on the same network. So actually pretty cool capabilities, right? If you think of it from an operations perspective, an operations monitoring perspective, command center, as Cliff just said, you may have a standard view of it, and that standard view may be exactly what we were just looking at. There's a few things up that are of interest to us we like to keep an eye on, but maybe you have a different situation come up. And so you can create situational layouts very simply, and by selecting the button that I have identified as my situational layout, instead of seeing the standard view, now I'm immediately brought up to my map showing a tool that shows wildfires in California, which quite a few, I think that's probably the norm for California, right? As well as live RSS feeds from different web pages, other data that I can drag and drop in very quickly to assess what's going on in those spaces. And the ability to pull this information and the flexibility of it allows you to put this into a format that enables you to best react to the situations that are in front of you. So I'm going to jump one here, and I think this will be familiar to some of you. This is our Anaheim picture, and you might notice that there is a blank space here in the middle. What we're waiting for is the traffic cams to come up there. At 6:30 this morning here in Plano time, they were actually very quick. They popped right up and were available immediately. This time of the afternoon, I assume there's a lot more traffic in the network, and they're a little bit slower. But as you can see, I've got those, and if I want to change the position of those, I can simply drag those around again using my Elite lead pad to manage where I want these things to be, how I want them to look. I can also do things like click and zoom on it. And I fat fingered that, so let me try that one more time. Yeah, so I can click and zoom that picture up, and once I'm done with it, very easy click and unzoom it, put it back to where it was. And you notice here that I completely messed up what my layout looked like when I started. But I can very easily switch that back to where I want it to be, or where I started at, by reselecting the layout and reload it very quickly. So lots of flexibility in OpsCenter in how it allows you to manage data within your environment. Again, not only on the photon walls, but on video walls, on individual digital signage throughout your environment. In Costa Rica, we use this in our customer engagement center, so our teams walk around with these, and we have individual signage mounted in specific places, and when they are doing a tour with a client, they're able to take this with it and select the layout that they want to put up, and it pops up right away. When it's not being used for a tour, it has information data on it, information for employees on it. So birthdays, what's happening today, what's on the schedule, who's going to be coming in. So things like that. So we have a lot of capability from an operations perspective in managing the content. But it also goes beyond that, because you have opportunity to manage business outcomes, or look for business, utilizing our different tools within our business to manage or watch what's going on in the environment. So you can see here, I've actually got a live race going on up here. This is a NASCAR sample, right? And I have video feeds, and I'm monitoring that using one of our autonomy tools. And I have news feeds and social feeds, and I'm watching what the people are saying. So the capability there allows us to gather this information, and then using our actionable analytics, put those into cohesive formats that allows us to better understand what's happening and make better decisions about what's going on in our environment. As an example, we have a nice New York City layout here. We'll give that 1 second to come up. As you can see, again, we're monitoring social media. We have some very nice videos that go with this. These are promotional videos. We have, again, the social media monitoring capabilities, and it allows us to do collaboration. So we can pull people into the room, we can sit at the table that's right in front of this wall, we can analyze the people, we can make good decisions based on what we're seeing. And of course, for presentations, we can put any type of presentation up onto the wall that we want. So these are all created by individuals, right? So we can either incorporate applications, or we can incorporate different web pages, or we can bring in graphics that are relevant to the situation that we're in. So we have a really flexible tool in OpsCenter that allows us to manage content, again, not only on the photon wall, but also across other devices in the environment. And then from a large-scale projection perspective, we have a very low cost, and we're able to generate a seamless and scalable image. We're starting out here at 18 foot by 4 foot, and this is about as small as we get. And as I said, this is in a relatively small conference room. We're also able to stack these up and out, so we can really create large visualization capabilities if we need to. So I think I also mentioned that we have multiple control point capabilities. So not only can I control it from this wall, but I can have one of my coworkers control it from their desktop. And Lathan over here has a desktop running the same OpsCenter, and now he's going to take over managing this wall. And so between us, we're able to both put the content up and manage the content that we want. So when we think about disasters, for example, this is a capture from the Japan tsunami and earthquake some years back. As you can see, we've got video coming in. Some of this is meant to be demonstrating live video. Others of it may be captured on social media that was posted somewhere that we went and grabbed. You've got graphs, you've got maps. So all this information is relevant to what's going on in a given situation that allows us, again, to react and make better decisions about what's happening. Maybe you want to do sales, right? So, and maybe you're selling product, you're selling shoes, right? So, and purses. So here we have lots of shoes and purses that can be displayed. Of course, this could be any product. So I can get out with a big one. This could be any product that we want to put forward for our customers. Let's look at the dresses, Layton. Great. Now, so we have models and dresses. So again, by predefining these layouts, we can pull this data or this information together very quickly and have an impact on our day-to-day and how we manage things. Let's take a look at the latch controls. So lots of data here, right? End to end, top to bottom, stacked with information about what's going on in the facility, who's who, what's what, what's failing, what's the status of each of these items. You may have an opportunity where you want to do a collaborative engineering effort to look at these things and determine what types of issues we're seeing. Maybe you're tying this off to other analytics capabilities, which allow us to drill in and identify, where we need to focus on here. And let's go to the monthly reports. From a business perspective, or a city perspective, you're looking at your monthly reports. Most of the time you're doing it on a single page at a time in PowerPoint, and you're going through those things to try and build a case for what you should or shouldn't do. Utilizing this technology, you're really able to lay these things all together, put them all out at the same time, do a full evaluation, and share that information with everyone else in the room very quickly, and then again, come to better decisions based on looking at better information. So it's the significance of what we do know, and being able to look at what we know, react to, understand, and make good decisions around that. Okay, so the collaboration capabilities, right, for development planning, the command and control aspect of this, the presentation, the selling, the training aspects of it, the disaster management aspect of it. So we're really bringing a lot of capabilities here, and what we feel like is that this fits not only in a command center operations perspective, but corporate command centers, financial services centers, healthcare. In fact, our first commercial deployment, which was done earlier this year, was to a healthcare facility in New Zealand. We're looking at expanding that quite rapidly in 15, or our fiscal year 15. Marketing, so if you're selling products, great way to put those things forward. The travel industry is another area that we see this being used, as well as manufacturing, ops center, command centers, and really putting together good pieces of information, again, to help your people make really good decisions based on good data. So I'm going to take control of this back from Mr. Johnson. And all I have to do is pick up my wireless and start selecting what it is I want to display. So as you can see, again, in our Manila site, lots of different devices being managed by our Ops Center software, utilizing touch technology, as well as lots of big visualization in the background, 40-foot wall, an 18-foot wall in their war room. They can all be managed from one location. And actually, from where I'm sitting in Plano, I could manage the data on most of these devices from right here. So we're looking forward to expanding the use of this, and we're looking forward to partnering with more of our clients to get this going. But